this is Nerdy. I just wanted to go ahead and get this one video over with because I've been really busy with college and I live with other people. So I wanted to go ahead and just get my thoughts on the game over with. So, first off, let me go ahead and say and explain what Sorezore no Ketsui is. First off, Sorezore no Ketsui, or Each One's Determination, is a Wonder Swan color game from 2001 where it's supposed to take place during the Heaven's Arena arc. The main goal of it is that you're supposed to play through 4 different routes: Gonenkyulas, Kurapika's, Leorio's, and Hisoka's. And the basic gameplay is a mix between Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom and basic RPG stuff with some new mechanics mixed in. I'll be getting into that in a bit. So with it, the basic story is that you're going through what each of the different characters are doing during that period in time. Because of that, there's actually some original content. For example, Kurapika's, alongside him trying to get a job, he runs into this girl named... Sorry. Basically, he runs into this girl named Clario, who he finds out looks exactly like him, and was also accidentally dying and dashing. Another thing is Leorio, who his entire thing is he was trying to head home, but he accidentally gets involved into this big thing with this woman named Hari, who stole a medical book that this incorrupt scientist is obsessed with, which causes Leorio to accidentally get involved. With that, there is some original stuff for Gon and Killa as well as Hisoka. For them, though, it's not as interesting. Gon and Killa is basically, they do for... I can never decide if I want to pronounce it as Jing or Ging. I'm gonna go with Jing because of Japanese. With Jing, basically, they do a treasure hunt to get the one box instead, and there's this weird thing where, like, you have to fight a bunch of monkeys after. You could tell they did not know what to do after. Again, sorry for my voice, by the way. With Hisoka's, his basically, it's the same thing, but they decided that Wing is a floor master for some reason. Probably to save sprites. And also after he becomes a floor master, well, Hisoka, they basically have you do a bunch of errands with the Phantom Troop. Can't speak. Phantom Troop. It's not as exciting as it sounds, believe me. With that, here I wanted to go ahead and explain the gameplay. As I mentioned before, it's akin to Princess Tomato in the Solid Kingdom, or maybe even something like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, where you do actions with word commands that are buttons. Obviously, there is no point-and-click adventure aspect, though. The main thing about it is just knowing where you're going and what commands to use. It's honestly not too hard. The only issue I had with it was during God and Killer's 4th chapter, I think, where they're doing the treasure hunting stuff, which was pretty easy enough to deal with. As for the combat, that's, I think, the main struggle. So let me go ahead and do a quick explanation. So basically, it's the basic can't speak. So the basic gameplay is that
you and the opponent are on a row, basically, and you're represented by two different pegs, with yours on the left and theirs on the right. The goal of the game is to either deplete their health to 0 or get them to do a ring out. So think of it as a very simplistic version of Soul Calibur without the 3D. However, here is where the issue comes. So, the game incorporates Nen, and the way it does it is a bit wonky. So, there is a aura bar that you can use to charge specific abilities to use. The thing is that some of the abilities aren't canon, and some of them they don't explain in game except for the one tutorial at the beginning of God and Killua's third chapter, which you'd think they'd have that fight sooner, but they don't, and they also don't have like an option to do it after you unlock like the bonus content. So you're just kind of left in the blue unless you have a guidebook, which is probably why I kept using Kyoll so much without knowing what it did. There should be a quick summary of what each of the abilities do on the wiki itself, but to be blunt, Kyoll, that is basically equivalent to using, say, Jeff's Spy or a checking ability that you see in a lot of RPGs, except it costs like 2 points for some reason, sometimes even more if you're a low level. For example, in God and Killua's third chapter, for some weird reason, if you're a specific level, they will do this weird thing where if you don't have a certain ability, they'll just have the other abilities be able to cost more points. So there will be times where I tried to do Ing only to do Kyoll instead. It's ridiculous. It's a very confusing system. I did eventually get the hang of it, but it's something that's so cringe-worthy to look at my old gameplay because of it, especially in the Hisoka route, because, well, route. You get what I mean. It's not very fun. So, with that being stated, here's the thing about the game going into frustrating parts. You can tell it was made in an era where a lot of arcades and stuff were still popular, and a lot of games were dependent on you buying the guidebook for getting money, essentially. Because there were instances where I was forced to fight like 8 different Majtani clones. Yes, Majtani is in the game, don't ask. And I would just get so frustrated that I'd just say fuck it and give up. It was not fun. And there was also some of the boss fights. Some of them, they were pretty okay to deal with. Like, for example, Sanshol and Wergo, I feel I could deal with it. But then there's the revenge fight with Sadaso, like at the end of the God and Killer route, like the very end, where they decided, oh yeah, he has that grabbing ability in the manga. Let's make him use that against you. And it's a one-hit kill. It's not fun. It was not fun to deal with. I had to use save states from how frustrating it was. And keep in mind that the way that the game saves, you can only save on the map screen or the character selection. So if I did not use save states, I probably would have given up on the game, not gonna lie. It is very frustrating at points. I think the main thing that I liked about the game was the stuff with Kurapika. I really liked the original content with Clario, and I felt it was really interesting to see what he was doing, even if a lot of it isn't canon. I felt the staff of the game definitely enjoyed doing definitely not Leorio. They hated Leorio. um, I felt they definitely enjoyed doing Kurapika's route. It's something you can definitely feel, especially with their with the interactions between him and Clario. I I will say though, I I don't know if a lot of it would have actually happened, but I felt it was a very cute what if scenario. Leorio's, though, I'm gonna be blunt, I got lost comprehending some of it because the pacing is so bad. Like, the next third chapter for him is just him walking around town, from what I recall. Like, there's nothing in regards to the stuff with Hari. It's not. It felt very. Oh yeah, we gotta put something in the middle. Let's just have him explore town. I don't fucking know. It's very, very common trend, as you can tell. It's definitely something that's very fun, but it's definitely a flawed game. I would not compare it to some of the worst games I've played, but it's one of those things where you can tell a lot of the problems come from the fact that it was during an era where games demanded you have a game guide, like Earthbound, Clock Tower, Ghost Head, so on and so forth. It's not the best experience, but I honestly did enjoy it. I do not want people to claim that it's a holy grail game by any means. Like, if anything, maybe the Castlevania like game would probably be a better choice if you want to play a Hunter x Hunter game. But all in all, I personally liked it. Just definitely very flawed, guilty pleasure, if you will. I just wanted to go ahead and record this because I don't really have any other time to. I apologize if some of this was kind of rambling. I wanted to do something more in depth, but I sadly don't really have the time to because of my college classes and also constantly having to work on this translation stuff. It's something where I'd like to prioritize my time more proficiently, if that makes sense. Also, again, I'm living with people and I don't want to annoy them. In that case, I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a really chaotic time. Sorry, my voice is kind of croaking, talking too long. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good day.